Hello movie fans, thanks so much for clicking on episode Side Flick. My name is Chris. Let's dive into all the great movie news we gotta discuss here today. Some of the stuff we're gonna be talking about here is we finally got revealed the title for the latest Fast and Furious movie, and a big hint from Vin Diesel that Paul Walker might be back. Some interesting details being let out about Halloween Ends and how it could divide the fan base. Sony delaying some of their Spider-Verse movies and putting release dates for other Spider-Man spin-off films. That along with so much more, so I'm gonna need you guys to give me your opinions with everything we discuss here today. Alright, so the first thing I want to dive into here today is a little smaller up-and-coming horror movie directed by M. Night Shyamalan. M. Night Shyamalan went ahead and took to his social media to let us see the first picture of the first day of shooting on his new horror movie called Knock at the Cabin. And look, I know the fan base can be divided on where they fall on some M. Night love, but whether you like his movies or not, because take it from me, I was not the biggest fan of Old, I am always down to watch an M. Night Shyamalan directed movie because the boy always brings a unique take, an interesting story, and tries doing something different, even if it doesn't always work out. Now, we don't know exactly what the movie will be about at the moment. We do have a couple of details that he revealed to comicbook.com. He went ahead and said, "I will tell you this, strangely, it was the fastest script I ever written. Signs would have had that title prior to Knock at the Cabin." Continuing on, "I probably think in terms of both of them that they have this movement, this event that causes me to write really fast. Hopefully audiences will feel that when they come to see it. It is definitely in the wheelhouse of things you're seeing from me now, especially with Servant, this contained and gigantic event that's occurring." And that's exactly what I mean right there. Those words excite me. I know people will get a little hesitant going, man, he wrote this script fast, that can't be a good sign, but I think a lot of people out there have Signs as their favorite M. Night Shyamalan movie, and if he wrote that script pretty fast just because the idea and concept had such momentum, it might be a sign that this movie is also a winner. It just still kind of breaks my heart sometimes that M. Night Shyamalan was catered to be like this ultimate big director, and now he just does smaller horror movies that people always bash on just because of his previous work. How do you guys feel about M. Night Shyamalan's latest movie, and will you be watching it? Moving on from there, we have another video game that is looking to be made into a movie that does not sound like a bad idea. Variety here reports that It Takes Two movie lands at Amazon. Seven Bruck Productions joins DJ2 Entertainment as producers. If you don't know about the game It Takes Two, this is a game I've actually been wanting to play with my significant other for the longest time. I'm just constantly busy making videos and content for you guys. But the video game plot goes as May and Cody, who as they go through a divorce, find their minds transported into dolls that their daughter Rose made to represent them. Now they must go on a wild and fantastical journey to find a way to get back into their bodies. With Seven Buck Production being owned by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, there is a very good chance that Dwayne himself will be starring in this movie, and with the producers of DJ2 Entertainment, same ones involved with the latest Sonic film, the writers of Sonic Movie 2 are looking to be the writers of this movie. So yeah, even just looking at some of this footage from the actual It Takes Two game, not only does it look like something super fun to play, but you could kind of also see how this could be perfect for a movie. It's almost like a modern day Parent Trap with a video game twist. These two parents that are trying to get to a divorce, and then they have to play this childlike Toy Story game to get back into their real bodies that most likely will rekindle their love and probably stop their divorce. I can imagine the visuals for this looking really good. I like the writers involved with Sonic Movie 2. They seem to know how to make a fun and entertaining movie, even if it's a little too silly at times. So if The Rock stars in this, I'm down for it, but it could be somebody else in those shoes and Dwayne can just be a producer of the movie. The other thing to mention though is that this will be an Amazon movie, but it doesn't mean it'll be strictly for streaming. Amazon has been one of those studios that isn't afraid to put their movie in theaters and then pop it on their streaming service. So you guys hear about It Takes Two being turned into a movie with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and the Sonic writers attached. Do you think this is a good idea? And speaking of Dwayne Johnson getting a divorce, we have to move on to the Fast and Furious franchise. Because yesterday we got the reveal of the official title for Fast and Furious 10, and let me tell you, I think it's brilliant. The movie will now be titled Fast X. Here is our look at the logo of it. If you're familiar with Roman numerals, you know X represents 10, so Fast X, I think is super fitting. I even dig the logo they have here. It's also worth pointing out that Fast X will be the first part in a two-part series that is going to end the Fast and Furious franchise. I just again am hoping they can find that right balance of being ridiculous and entertaining without just taking it a step too far or just taking yourself a little too seriously, because Fast 9 to me just was not as enjoyable as I wanted it to be. So I'm kind of hesitant to see how Fast X turns out, and even more now because it looks like Vin Diesel is teasing a return for Paul Walker. Hours after the announcement was made for the title for Fast and Furious 10, Vin Diesel took to his Instagram to make a real lengthy letter kind of speaking to the fans about what he wants to do with this next movie. And look, it's a lot of stuff here, so I'm not going to read the entire thing. I'm just going to kind of go ahead and summarize to you the most important parts of this announcement. And one of the first things he mentions at the top of this announcement is that Mia Toretto, which is the wife of Brian, Paul Walker's character in the movies, was actually not supposed to be part of Fast 10, which could kind of make sense. You don't have Paul Walker there. We have to imagine that they're safe, living a happily forever after. But yet they found a way to fit her into Fast 9 with the introduction of this long-lost brother. But Vin Diesel here mentions that he could not stand for that even his own daughter in real life demanded to the screenwriters they add her back to the movie. And so it seems like that's exactly what they did. Now Mia Toretto will be part of the film. And as the announcement continues on, Vin Diesel just gets a lot more emotional and heartfelt about the passing of Paul Walker, where he drops this line: "When his daughter, Paul Walker's real life daughter, asked me to walk her down the aisle, I tear up, and then do it with pride and honor. When his mother asked me to bring Brian back to the screen, well, I don't have to tell you how serious I take that. Fast could never have been here without the profound love and brotherhood between Dom and Brian established in 2001. Yeah, I am talking too much, but damn, life is short and your comment touched me and hit a chord. Thank you for believing in me and us. I won't rest until I make you, him, and the universe proud." So if Vin Diesel right now is admitting that Paul Walker's real life mother is telling Vin Diesel, hey, go back and bring Brian to those movies, because I bet you that family gets a royalty check. I'm just saying. I'm sure when you pass away, the rights to your likeness and face revert to your family, so he obviously needs their permission for something like that to happen. And if you remember the outcry that Vin Diesel had begging Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson to be part of the last two movies because he basically wants it to be Avengers Endgame of the Fast and Furious world, it seems pretty likely that we're coming close to a Fast and Furious movie where Paul Walker will be brought in through CGI, motion capture, and I honestly just don't know how to feel about that. Because I'll admit, with Fast 8, I didn't miss the Brian character presence that much. I thought there was enough dynamic going on with all the other Fast characters where I could see them continuing on without him. But then Fast 9 rolled around and I was like, man, I kind of really miss the Brian character bringing some levity to all of this. But I just don't think it's going to feel the same without Paul literally there and his acting being brought to the screen and it just kind of being synthetically made through computers and whatnot. I think it'll just feel so weird. But I throw it off to you guys. One, how do you feel about the title Fast and Furious 10, and Vin Diesel pretty much hinting here that he wants to try and bring Paul Walker's character Brian into the next two Fast and Furious movies. Moving on from there, I definitely want to talk about Halloween Ends, because as the months roll around, we are getting closer to the Spook Ya Mama month, and I think one of our most anticipated horror movies of this year is gonna be Halloween Ends, because it's essentially the end of the latest version of Michael Myers. Well, we have here an interview with Nick Castle, the original Michael Myers all the way back to the first film, who still works on the production of the latest movies, cameoing here and there, so he does have insight to what's going on in these films. He went ahead and let us know my good friend James Jude Courtney, the current Michael Myers, he's doing 99% of the work in the latest three movies as Michael Myers and doing a wonderful job, I think. Continuing on, I just saw he was over at the editing room where they're completing the first cut of Halloween Ends with David Gordon Green, of course, as the steward of the ship. It sounds like it should be pretty good. Some more details here confirming that he did film a little cameo and that this will be the end, at least, of the David Gordon Green version of Halloween. I think there might be more because of all the success of the trilogy, but Green will have a very surprising storyline and ending for everyone. Absolutely something I don't think you would have ever guessed in terms of the way it's going to unroll. Okay, I know that was a lot of reading right there to throw right at you, but this is some interesting stuff we're hearing. Because it wasn't too long back that Jamie Lee Curtis, basically the star of the Halloween franchise, said the ending of Halloween Ends is gonna piss off some fans. And now having here Nick Castle, one of our Michael Myers, saying that it's going to end in a very surprising way that not a lot of people are expecting, what are they planning to do with Halloween Ends? Because Halloween Kills already kind of divided the fan base. I think a lot of people can kind of agree that Halloween 2018 was a really solid Halloween film, and then Halloween Kills was kind of meh. I enjoyed it, I liked it, but I can also see why people just weren't too fond of it. With Halloween Ends, it's gonna be the make or break point of, was this trilogy worth it with an all new Michael Myers, an all new timeline, and do we definitively want to end this movie with Michael dying, decapitated, exploding, ending up being buried on the ground, whatever, because that means we can't do another Michael Myers movie without making another timeline or reboot somewhere down the line. So honestly, I feel like the twist or the surprising unravel of this ending is gonna be that Michael wins and everyone else dies. That's the only way I can see it going down. That could piss off some people with an open ending to what's supposed to be the end of the Blumhouse trilogy, but Blumhouse has said themselves if they can get another deal, they would happily make 10 more Halloween movies, and it's like, yo, Michael Myers ain't getting any younger. It's honestly so fascinating to think about, and I really wonder what exactly could be going down in this movie that is so controversial. And honestly, I'm kind of happy they're taking a risky approach. I'm glad they're just not making the safe bet, that they're going ahead and attempting to do new things. Hopefully it's a good movie, but I want to throw it off to you guys. What do you think the surprising reveal could be? What ending could there be that would make some fans mad, but is also an ending for this Blumhouse trilogy? But okay, now moving on here to some of these delayed movies that Sony went ahead and announced yesterday. Unfortunately, we got the news that Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, that was originally supposed to hit theaters in October of this year, has now been moved to June 2nd of 2023, and that also bumps the second part to March of 2024. Along with the announcement of these delays, Sony also went ahead and announced the continuation of their Morbius verse. That's right, this isn't the Sony Spider-Man Connected Universe or the Spider-Verse or the Venom-verse. We're officially calling this the Morbius verse. Well, they have it here that the Spider-Man spin-off movie Madam Web will now be releasing July 7th of 2023. This is kind of insane to think about because now 2023 is the year of the Morbius verse. We have Kraven the Hunter releasing in January of that year. Then you have Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse releasing in June and Madam Web in July. Man, I'm craving Tom Holland's Spider-Man 4 at this point. Now, I know some people are going to start to worry and panic and be like, Chris, why did they delay Across the Spider-Verse? Is something wrong with that movie? Is it a train wreck? What's happening? I genuinely think it's just a matter of the visual effects need a little bit more time. They don't want to rush it, and that they'd rather just delay it so that they can make this film without having to have that pressure on them. Because remember, we heard that Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is like an ambitious animated movie that every time Miles jumps to a different universe with a different Spider-Man, they change the animation style, and that cannot be easy to do. So that's most likely why that film got delayed, but I'm like surprised neither Kraven the Hunter or this Madam Web movie got delayed or shifted around, because it's like, we saw what happened with Morbius. Sure, it made money, but it also just got terribly reviewed by both audiences and critics. It's the least performing Spider-Man movie in that entire category, including the Venom films. You would think some of the outrage would cause Sony to want to rethink this verse or maybe tweak things up, but looks like they're going ahead strong with this universe, and Sony, I'm commending you for it, but I don't know how it's going to turn out. So yeah, it sucks, but hey, get your Morbius t-shirts ready, because in 2023, we step back into that type of world, man. As a side note, I also do want to mention that part of these announcement and release dates, Sony also announced Equalizer 3, directed by Anton Fuqua and starring Denzel Washington, September 2023. I like the first Equalizer, was not a fan of the second one, don't really know if I'm excited for a third one. I throw it off to you guys though. How do you feel about Sony announcing these delays and changing release dates up? Are you excited for 2023 being the Morbius verse year, or do you think Sony just needs to stop with these spin-off films? But that is all the movie news we currently have going on right now, guys. I want to thank you so much for taking time out of your day to watch me talk some movies. Don't be forgetting to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, follow me on Twitter at 3C Films or on TikTok at 3C Films. But as always, I'm Chris. Take care.